Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? This Ebola, this thing is spreading, and now there is the major concerns it's going to spread around the world. And I've been talking about this plague, an end-time apocalyptic plague, potentially could evolve from Ebola. It kills 90% of the people who get it, and now that doctor from America has just died. Fears that the West African Ebola outbreak could spread to other continents grew, with European and Asian countries on alert and leading medical charities warning the epidemic was out of control. Now, Doctors Without Borders said the crisis gripping Guyana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone would only get worse, and warned there was no overreaching strategy to handle the world's worst outbreak of the disease. Now, United States Christian charity Samaritan's Purse was temporarily withdrawing its non-essential staff from Liberia. It said, citing that the regional instability and ongoing security issues from the threat from this disease. Hong Kong has just announced quarantine measures for suspected cases, although one woman arriving from Africa with a possible symptoms tested negative, while the EU said it was ready to deal with the threat. The International Civil Aviation Organization has held talks with global health officials on the potential measures to halt the spread of the disease. And in Britain, where one person has tested negative for the disease, Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond said it was regarded as a very serious threat. As emergency meetings had decided that the best approach was to provide additional resources to deal with the disease at the source, West Africa. Ebola can kill victims within days, causing severe fever, muscle pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and in some cases organ failure and an unstoppable bleeding. Now, since March, there has been 1,201 cases of Ebola, and the official death is 672 people have died officially in Guyana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Now, these are the official numbers by the World Health Organization. I've heard that it was over 720 people dead, but of course, that's not the official number. And there's no doubt in West Africa, there's been some people die from this disease that's not in the statistics because of the third world country nature of the situation. But the U.S. Peace Corps announced Wednesday it was pulling hundreds of its volunteers from these three countries. There are currently 102 Peace Corps volunteers in Guyana working on agriculture, education, and health. There's 108 in Liberia. There's 130 in Sierra Leone. So the EU is equipped and ready, they say. The European Union is equipped. It's ready to treat victims should the deadly virus be found in any of its 28 member states, according to the EU sources in Brussels. Folks, I don't know if anybody is really ready. Quote, "We cannot rule out the possibility that the infected person arrives in Europe, but the EU has the means to track and contain any outbreak rapidly," in the sources are saying. I don't think they have a clue. I mean, we've had doctors go from America. There's a doctor right now in Canada who's quarantined himself. Look, this thing, health professionals, the doctors are getting sick and dying. Nurses are getting and dying. And there was even one lady whose job was just to rinse off the doctors and healthcare workers, to shower them off after they get out of their hazmat suits, after treating patients. And the lady who just sprays them down got sick and died. So this is not something, this is a stronger plague of this disease than we've ever seen in history before. Now, the isolation and negative testing of suspected cases in Spain showed that the system is working, says the EU. The level of contamination on the ground is extremely worrying, and we need to scale up our action before many more lives are lost, says the EU Humanitarian Aid Commissioner Christina Georgieva. Now, in Hong Kong, a densely populated city previously scared by disease outbreaks such as SARS back in 2003, in that epidemic, health officials confirmed they would quarantine as the precautionary measure any visitors from Guyana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia who show any fever symptoms. It's too late. It's too late. As a 14 to 21 incubation period. It's too late. You wait till they have a fever. It's too late. You really need to shut down the borders from those 3 countries and quarantine this thing and get it under control quickly now. Because if you wait till it spreads throughout Africa, you know, in my book, Mark of the Beast, RFID, I actually wrote in there that there would be a virus that would kill 300 million people in Africa in the last days. So when I seen this thing break out, I said, oh, dear God, please help us shut this down. But I'm telling you, Jesus said that we would have these pestilence, these plagues in the last days, famines. We would see great, great, great catastrophes upon the earth. Jesus said it, and the Revelation also, it's prophesied. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. Pray for these people. Pray for the people in Africa who have this disease for healing. Pray that this thing can be contained and got rid of. In Jesus' name.